Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Gospel Unplugged. My name is Pastor Ben Cieslik, and today I am joined by my colleague,
Pastor Grangaard.
Pastor Grangaard. We're continuing our series on grace, and this week's theme, Grace is Messy, and we get a messy story. It's a story that we typically read during Holy Week on Maundy, Thursday, often. It is when Jesus washes his disciples' feet, but there's a lot more going on in this story. So let's read it and talk about it and see what you have for us, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, before the festival of the Passover, Jesus knew that his hour had come to depart from this world and go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. The devil had already decided that Judas, son of Simon Iscariot, would betray Jesus. And during supper, Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he had come from God and was going to God, got up from supper, took off his outer robe, and tied a towel around himself. Then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel that was tied around him. He came to Simon Peter, who said, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus answered, "You do not know now what I am doing, but later you will understand." Peter said to him, "You will never wash my feet." Jesus answered, "Unless I wash you, you have no share with me." Simon Peter said to him, "Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head." Jesus said to him, "One who is bathed does not need to wash except for the feet, but is entirely clean, and you are clean, though not all of you." For he knew who was to betray him. For this reason he said, "Not all of you are clean." After he had washed their feet and put on his robe and had reclined again, he said to them, "Do you know what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, for that is what I am. So if I, your Lord and your teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have set you an example, that you should also do as I have done to you."
Messy.
Messy, dirty, gross.
Who cleans up that foot washing water and all that stuff? I mean, yuck.
Kinda.
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of gross.
Yeah.
But there's also some more messiness going on in the text, I think. And
I think so,
maybe
too.
That's what you want to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, how messy do we want to go? We can talk about the messes that accumulate on our kitchen. This reminds me of my kitchen, my dining room table, right? It just accumulates the stuff of life through the week as it goes. And then it's a reset day. Okay, well, that's really real. But I think the washing each other's feet stands out, and it's Communion Sunday, so come on down, have some Jesus with us. But the story in John's Gospel, there's no institution of the Lord's Supper. This is the story of that. Around the Passover. But so Jesus washes the other's feet. This is not something that a teacher would do or like an important person would do, right? It would be the reverse, what the lesser people, the enslaved people in other places.
Very much a sign of hospitality, of welcome, of taking care of people, but it wouldn't, to your point, be something that the host of the party,
Right.
the host of the event would do. There would be people there that would take care of that.
Right.
And so for Jesus to do it signifies something big. I think I heard somebody sometime preach on this text and talk about, like, as Jesus is getting down on his knees to do this, he's like taking off all of the signs of his authority, like his robe, his outer garment, like all of this stuff is like his kind of credentials.
Right.
And he's removing all of that to be of service to his followers.
There's like, he's doing it deliberately, intentionally. There's a reason for it. And Peter doesn't know what to do with it. It's messy for Peter. He's like, whoa, I should be washing your feet, not the other way around. But I don't think that's like the whole messiness of this story. There's like this larger backdrop going on. And maybe it's when we feel in our lives too. It's, something small, the problem of evil.
Very small.
But this story of Judas that's in, with, and around the story of Jesus in John's Gospel.
What do you make of
What do I
Judas.
make of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when he read, this word stuck out. Knew. Jesus knew. It was about his hour. He was aware of these things that were happening. There's this sense in this very real thing that evil is present. And there's no explanation for it. But the question is, what's God going to do with it? Jesus chooses and includes Judas in his circle of disciples. He's like strong enough to abide with him. So if evil is going to persist, it's not because Judas was shunned or kicked out. Like Judas was loved. Judas was given every option. Jesus is going to feed him. Jesus is going to wash him. At every step, Jesus offers Judas grace, and Judas resists it.
It is striking. We can so quickly fixate on the conversation between Jesus and Peter's objections and all of those kinds of things. And Judas does sort of just fade in the background, but he's still part of the 12. Like he is still sitting at the table. He is still having his feet washed as all of this is unfolding. And so he doesn't just disappear yet.
Yeah. Right.
He is still that recipient of all the things that Jesus is offering and doing.
That's right. And there's this idea that like Jesus sends him out, like Jesus gives him permission to leave, right? That Jesus is actually in control of what's going on. The evil isn't happening to Jesus, but Jesus is like, I see you. I'm stronger than you. And my force isn't more evil or more strength or power. Mine is disrobing all of my credentials and loving and serving. There's something powerful about that, something messy about that. I love it.
It does. I mean, we in the church and in society broadly are very eager to decide who belongs at the table, who's done something, thought something, embodied something so significant that they need to be removed. And this offers a counter to that in some uncomfortable ways, and that Jesus still gives to the people that already have plans to do him harm, to be a part of something else, to be a force over and against him. And Jesus still kind of heaps that grace upon even that guy.
Right. It reminds me of other stories in the Bible, but one that we both love of Joseph and his brothers. And Joseph saying in Genesis 50:20, you planned it for evil. God planned it over for good. Like God will use even your evil intentions to bring about God's will, which is life and love and wholeness and healing. Evil will work towards its own end, towards hate and destruction. But God's at work directing evil to God's own life-giving expectations and purposes. We think of the cross as this evil thing that has been done to Jesus, but even there, especially there, that's going to become a symbol and power of love, of life over death. Kind of powerful, kind of messy. So like this is like maybe a little messier than we wanted to go.
Oh, I think it's great. I mean, it's what is in the story. It also invites us to pay attention to different nuances of this text. And so into that messiness, what kind of questions do you want people to be kicking around this week?
Yeah. I'm a big fan of like self-compassion and thinking, like acknowledging what we're all going through, like how to be a human being. So I think one question I would ask is, what's messy for you? Like what comes to the surface? What feels messy, hard to sort out, just kind of like gnawing at you from the edges? Just, you don't have to fix it, but what's there? And then the second would be, what does it mean that mess doesn't scare God away? Like God can abide around our messes and even does something with them. And I'll just add as the last practice part of self-compassion is never to fix something. It's to nurture yourself, to say, hey, my life's a mess sometimes, and there's some messy things that I am uncomfortable with, and yet I'm still here. I'm still doing a good job. Go get a nice cold glass of water and take a walk. Those are good things to do.
Take a walk.
Take a walk. I love it.
I love it. Well, thank you. Yeah. Thanks for spending some time in the mess with me, and we'll see you in church on Sunday.